Charles Walker. I run the Charles Walker Band. I started about 15 years ago, and you wanted to know what my mission is?
Yeah.
The mission is this. The Charles Walker Band is a household name, selling 15 million albums worldwide because we have reinvented the genre of soul and been named #1 must-see live act by Rolling Stone magazine by July 22nd, 2020.
That's the mission. I like that. I like that. So at what point did you realize that you wanted to brand yourself and put yourself out there? Because I know you've been in music a very long time. When did you decide to go full blast?
So I started the band 15 years ago, but I really started to take it seriously about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And you asked me what was the reason there?
Yeah, like what made you want a brand?
Well, I think we talked about this. I think it was yesterday. I think the gateway drug for me for personal development was The Secret. It is a powerful book, movie, audiobook, whatever. I always caution people. I put it with the grain of salt of it's not everything. It's not the beginning and end. You can't just get The Secret and be like, okay, I understand everything. I'm gonna rock and roll. It's a great way to start. But if that's all the information you have, it's kind of like knowing that 2 + 2 is 4,
right?
But not knowing why 2 + 2 is 4. And if I say, okay, what about 3 + 2? You're like, I don't know. I just know that 2 + 2 is 4.
Right.
So it is a great place to start, but it's not a great place to end. But that really opened my eyes to the fact that there was so much more for me than what I was doing. And I was, up until that point, I was waiting for what I call Superman to save me.
Right.
I was waiting for the record producer to come to me, knock on my door and say, hey, I brought this contract with a bag of money. I'd like to give you a bag of money, and I'd like to magically make all of your problems go away.
Right.
And everything is just going to be easy from here on out, and you won't have to worry about any transition. You can stop teaching, and you'll have a bank full of money for the rest of your life and someone to always take care of all the things you don't want to take care of.
Yeah. So far along your journey, like what's been your best, like what's the best part of it?
I think one of the highlights is anytime someone comes up to us and tells us how much the show meant, how it helped them. I'm going to say something different than I said yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
In case anybody is watching again.
Right.
There is a part of the show that we do right at the end where we talk about the lyrics to one of the songs, and we secretly make it feel a little bit like a church service. It's definitely not. It's not a church service. We're not talking about God. We're not talking about any particular religion. But it feels a little bit like that because we're talking about difficult things in life, and we're talking about the challenges we have in life.
Right.
And in the lyrics of the song, we talk a little bit about. It talks about the path being dark, and in that I say, you know, when that path seems dark, when life hits you and knocks you down, it's really easy to look down this path and say, I don't know what I'm going to do, and just want to give up. But the problem is that you're looking at the wrong thing. There might not be enough light right now to see the end of the pathway or to see the top of the staircase, but there is always enough light to see the next step.
Right.
To be able to, if nothing else, make a phone call to a friend and say, hey, I need some help, or you know what, let me get on Google and try and look for this next job, or whatever it happens to be. There's always enough light to do that, and from there, you'll see the next step and the next step. And a lot of people don't come to concerts expecting to hear that sort of thing. But at the same time, they love it because you go to a concert, but that doesn't mean that everything in your life is magically fixed.
Right.
You still came with a lot of baggage. You got in a fight with your significant other, or you're worried about paying that next bill, or whatever it happens to be. And so I think one of the most meaningful things to me is when people come up to me and say, you know what, that really helped me right now, because that hit me where I live right now. I'm going through some stuff, and your concert lifted me up, and those words really helped me to know that when I go back home, I don't need to worry about everything. I can just worry about what the next thing is, and I can move on from there.
In contrast, like, what's a hurdle or what's a struggle that you've had to deal with along your journey, and you know, how did it impact you? How did you get over it?
I'm gonna say a different thing again in case somebody new is watching. One of the toughest things that I'm still dealing with is when you're in leadership, it's really, really tempting to believe that you have to have all the ideas and that your ideas are always the best ideas, and that if you don't know what you're doing all the time, that and you let the people that work for you know that you're going to look like a fool. In reality, you are not always going to know what you're doing. In reality, all of your ideas are not always the best ideas.
Right.
And the most secure leaders are the ones who say, you know what, I don't know what's going on right now. Let's talk about what's going on and how can we fix it.
Right.
Or, you know what, I had these ideas that didn't work. Let's open this back up to try and figure out what are some new ideas to move us forward. Because if you can get to the place where it's all about the results and everything is results driven, then it doesn't have to be about you. You can look and say, you know what, I've been working on this for 3 years and my goal was $100,000 a year. And I've gotten $30,000 in year one, $30,000 in year two, and $30,000 in year three,
Right.
or maybe $32,000 right now. My results are not working. What I have been doing is not working. For most people, they think, well, if I just work harder doing the same things, then I'm going to get better results. No. If you work harder, you're just going to burn out faster and not get any different results.
Right.
It's time to begin to reassess. It's time to begin to figure out what's a better way of doing this.
Yeah. How do you define failure?
I think it's simple. Failure is giving up. Everything else is just learning.
Right.
When you look at life that way, then failure disappears, because when we look at children, we don't define failure as, you know what, you tried and you messed up. If the first time we look down at a baby and the baby falls down from walking, we're not like, shh, might as well give that up. Now, clearly
Right.
you can't do it. Or the first time the baby tries to say mama and they say llama or something, we're not like, you stupid idiot, go sit down somewhere. You don't know how to talk.
Right.
No, we're like, try again. We encourage them because we know that with time, their potential is limitless and they can learn how to speak, they can learn how to walk. But somehow when we get to be grown, all of a sudden, we have developed this mindset of, if I'm not good at it right away, it means that it's not for me. No, if it's built inside of you, if it's what gets you excited, if it's what really gets you up in the morning to be like, yeah, let me do this, then it doesn't matter. Failure is not permanent unless you make it permanent. Everything else is just a learning experience. So when you try and it doesn't work out, what do? You sit down and you say, what worked? What didn't work? Okay, those things didn't work. And then if it's a matter of trying the same thing again just because the circumstances weren't right, that's great. If it's time to begin to reassess and say, you know what, it didn't work because I need to change this, this, and this, that's cool too. But you have to ultimately, that's absolutely true, failure is an option, it's a choice. Otherwise, everything else is just feedback. It's just a way of saying, you know what, I didn't learn enough yet, I didn't grow enough yet, I'm not ready for this. And I think that's what's powerful for me, and that's what helps me sometimes when I have these setbacks, is if you look at people, I'm in the music realm primarily, and when you look at people who aren't ready and ultimately get thrown into the ring, so you see some American Idols who, they weren't really the people they needed to be before they became famous, or even some one-hit wonders or people like that, and they self-destruct. And we ask ourselves the question, what happened to them?
Right.
Why did they have such short-lived careers? When you look at somebody like Beyonce or Bruno Mars or Prince or Stevie Wonder, who have
Right.
these epic careers,
Right.
they grew into the people that they needed to be in order to maintain that level of success. Those people who self-destruct, they did that because they weren't ready. That's what happens when you get into a position that you're not ready for, is you will sabotage yourself back into comfort. Lottery winners do that all the time. They win the lottery, and then we turn around and a year later, they're broke. It's because they self-sabotage themselves because they didn't really believe that they deserved the money. They didn't really believe that they could be a person who could handle money well. And so they did everything they could to get back into their comfort zone, which
Yep.
was being broke.
Right, exactly. And it's funny that you say that, because I think there's so many people that look at success and they see the end goal, you know, and because they see that end goal so vivid, they don't realize that failure is a process of success. It's a part of success. Like, you cannot be success if you haven't failed. Last question is, who do you want the world to remember you as?
I want to be the person who inspired others to take the next step, to grow, to become better, because that's everything we do, at least everything that I do, that's my goal, is to leave the world a better place than it was, and to help us all grow into better people so we can leave it better for the next generation and they can pick it up from there and continue to grow. Because as a species, that's how we've survived, is in our ability to grow, develop, adapt, and survive, because we're not the strongest thing on the planet. Sometimes I question whether they're the smartest thing on the planet, but we have learned to adapt and to grow.
Yeah.
And so my goal is to inspire people to do the same, to take the next step and to be the best version of themselves that they can be today, and then don't settle for that, but to continue to become the next better version of themselves tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think that should always be our goal, you know, not to just focus on ourselves or not to just see ourselves in a certain place, but to actually make an impact on the world. That's always the goal. Well, thank you for that. Plug yourself. Let them know where they can find you.
All right. Well, my band's website is Walker, WALKER, band, BAND.com. If you want to, I didn't actually mention this time, but I'm also a graphic designer. So if you want to check out my graphic design business, it's Freed, FREED, MD, freedmd.com. It stands for freedmind.com. You can check out my graphic design. You can also just go to my Facebook page and connect with me there. There's also a band page, but if you connect with me on Facebook, you can find out all that information.
Guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment and we will reply. Thank you guys for tuning in again. As you drop in, share this video. We're just aiming to inspire you guys. And we'll see you next time. Till then, peace.
Peace.